Ladies and gentlemen, Lenny March here with Machine MMA. We are on course for our event on October 4th. It's going to be a packed out arena. Make sure you get your tickets now at the Fed Gateshead. It's going to be a great show, especially with this man to my left, one half of the main event, Alex Ross. How are you, mate?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing good. How?
Yeah, this is good. It's going to be a fantastic show with your name on top of the bill as well. It's going to be even better with a fantastic fight between you and Brooklyn. I'd love to talk about that. But firstly, talk to me about, how you're feeling this one. 3-0, looking to go 4-0 in this one. Talk to me about the fight itself as you're heading into this, about 4 weeks, 5 weeks out now?
I feel good. The training camp's going good. Dieting's going good as well. My fitness is really good. But yeah, the 3-0 stuff doesn't really matter to me. It's more about how I feel when I get into the cage on the night. You know what I mean? That doesn't really affect how I fight when, my record and everything now. But, we're just going to have to see how it goes on the night, don't we?
Absolutely. Before we get on to, obviously, the fight with Brooklyn, I want to talk about, the merger with Cage Warriors. When you first saw that on Ian's, Facebook or wherever you've seen it on his social media, what was your initial reaction, running through your head as you now have got that opportunity to fight on Machine MMA and potentially maybe a few fights down the line, fighting for that contract in Cage Warriors?
I just seen it as like a massive opportunity, as I'm sure everyone else did as well when they seen it come up on the Instagram. But also it's just, it's an honour to fight on the, with the opportunity to fight for Cage Warriors as well. It's just an honour, really.
Would you advise this to, fighters potentially looking at this interview and thinking, they're unsure of making this step to, Machine MMA and potentially getting onto, Cage Warriors? What's your advice to them fighters that are potentially watching that could be in your shoes, in a few fights' time?
Just get yourself into it, really. That's all I can say, you know what I mean? You can't expect to get to the big leagues without, fighting, you know what I mean? So that's just what I think of it, yeah.
Say for obviously, metaphorically, you go on, you win, and you eventually get that Cage Warriors, contract a few fights down the line, and you're on the same roster as, your head coach, Josh Abraham. That would be massive. I can see the smile on your face there. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, it would just be massive, wouldn't it? It'd be meant to fight with, not fight with Josh, but you know what I mean? Like, meant to be on the same card and everything like that, but it's just a big opportunity.
Yeah. Now we'll talk about, the Brooklyn fight. This one, stylistically and the way it's matched up, Northeast is a fantastic matchup. Obviously, he's out of South Shields, you're out of Sunderland. Just talk to me a bit about this fight, head to this one. Should be a fantastic matchup. As mentioned, stylistically, should be great. Talk to me about what you're expecting from Brooklyn on the night. He's fast, he's ferocious. Does that kind of, play into your game a little bit?
That's exactly what I expect, you know what I mean? That's what I'm preparing for. I expect fast, good boxing, and that's what I'm training for. So,
how does this style, sort of play into your hands, and ultimately, how do you get that, that win that night? So you come home with your hand raised and one step closer to that Cage Warriors contract. How does that look like in your head?
Just grit, you know what I mean? Hard work beats talent in my eyes, you know what I mean? So as long as I work hard, then the results should pay.
I remember when we spoke last week before this interview, and you talked about you stepped into this gym. Was it? If correct me if I'm wrong, 1 year and 8 months ago. Talk to me about that rise, because that's a fantastic rise to put yourself in a position sort of where you are now. When you first stepped into this, this gym here at Roker Roughhouse, did you expect to kind of get to this position so far so quick?
No, I'm going to be honest. No, I didn't. You know what I mean? When I first started, it was just getting the basics down, getting the basics sorted, and just improving. And then it wasn't until, I'd say, about December time, I really started to understand, like I'm starting to get a lot better, and I can start to actually put myself out for fights and stuff like that, which I'm obviously doing now.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you're on the right course in terms of, your career trajectory and the way you're going now with Machine MMA? Do you feel like this is the right step in your career and for the future, basically?
Definitely, 100%. Shit, I fucked up there.
That's fine. It doesn't matter. We'll just flow with it. In my eyes, I think the Brooklyn fight, is the hardest one to date, and I feel like you're going to be expecting that. And is that something that you're thriving under? A fight on Machine MMA, a main event, the hardest fight to date. There is a lot of pressure for such a young lad like you. How do you thrive under that sort of situation?
Just everything you've just said, the pressure of it. I like the pressure of all of that. Main event. Being young and all that, I think that's good. That's good for, nerves. I think nerves are good as well. I think when I get there and I'm nervous, that's a good thing. That means it's real and stuff like that. So that'll just help my performance.
In my eyes, if you don't have nerves, you don't care. So that's how I look at it anyway. Does it? Are you looking for a statement on October 4th at the Fed Gateshead? You know, in front of a packed out crowd, in front of new eyes watching, potentially Graham Boland, you know, potentially looking at some, you know, scouting a little, you look at some of the, you know, some of the shows or what talent was on to offer at Machine MMA on October 4th. Are you looking for a statement versus Brooklyn, or is it just like any means necessary, get the victory, get the win, and move on, you know, and press on the main event, and that's it?
Yeah, we'll just get the win and see how it goes from there. You know what I mean? So I can't really comment on the fight if we haven't had the fight. So we'll just see how the fight goes and then we'll go from there.
That's it. I just want a sentence to, you know, to the fans that are potentially watching this, that are going to be there on the night on October 4th, you know, in the arena at the Fed Gateshead. What do we expect from Alex Ross? What does that look like?
Just a show. You know what I mean? A nice, fast, explosive fight with a lot of high velocity movements and everything.
Why should fans get their tickets? You know, I know they're going fast. Why should they get their tickets and be there on October 4th?
So packed out show, isn't it? So don't see why he shouldn't be there. So
if you like booze and fights, it's a no-brainer. Alex Ross is on the card. He's main event against Brooklyn. It's going to be a fantastic event. Make sure you be there on October 4th. Machine MMA at the Fed Gateshead. Don't miss it. Me and Alex will be there. Make sure you are. Alex, mate, now it's a pleasure.